Emily Carter's shoes echoed against the polished marble floor of the luxury hotel. It was close to midnight. Her shift had just ended, and all she wanted was to step outside into the cool night air. But fate didn't allow her such peace. "Hey, pretty girl, where do you think you're going?" A drunken voice called behind her. Emily stiffened. Turning slightly, she saw three wealthy young men in expensive suits staggering down the hallway, glasses of champagne in their hands. Her heart thudded. She quickened her pace, clutching her worn-out handbag against her chest. "Don't run, sweetheart. We just want to talk," one of them laughed, chasing her. The corridor stretched endlessly. Her breath came fast, panic rising. When one of them nearly caught her wrist, Emily shoved a random door open and stumbled inside. The room was dim, lit only by the warm glow of golden lamps. Heavy velvet curtains framed the tall windows, and at the center, a man stood in a crisp black suit, his back straight, his aura sharp and cold. He turned slowly and Emily froze. Adrian Blackwood, 30 years old, ruthless CEO of Blackwood Enterprises. His very presence made people tremble. His eyes, storm gray and piercing, locked onto her trembling figure. "What are you doing in my room?" His voice was low, dangerous, the kind that demanded answers. Emily's lips quivered. I'm sorry. They were chasing me. I didn't know where else to go. Please, don't throw me out." Her eyes shimmered with tears. For a moment, silence stretched. Adrian studied her, plain clothes, tired eyes, fear trembling through her frame. Yet there was something fragile, something painfully real about her. Something that tugged at a corner of his heart he didn't even know existed. "You shouldn't be here," he finally said, stepping closer. But his voice had softened, no longer the cold command he gave to the world. Emily's knees nearly buckled. "I'll leave if you want, but please, just let me stay until they're gone." Adrian's jaw tightened. Against his usual logic, he nodded. "You're safe here." Safe. The word wrapped around her like a blanket. And as she looked up into his eyes, something shifted, an invisible thread tying two strangers together. That night, one wrong door began a story neither of them could escape. The golden morning sun spilled into the luxurious suite. Adrian Blackwood stirred awake, his hand reaching across the silken sheets. Cold emptiness greeted him. His sharp eyes opened fully. She was gone. He sat up quickly, scanning the room. No trace of the girl remained. The faint scent of lavender lingered in the air, teasing his memory. For a man who never let anyone close, last night had been unlike anything he had ever experienced. Her trembling, her honesty, the way she looked at him, so fragile yet so brave. He wanted to ask her name again, to know who she was, to at least see her in the daylight. But she had slipped away like a ghost. Adrian's jaw clenched. He called his assistant, Lucas, checked the hotel records. "The woman who came to my room last night. I want her name. Her details, everything." Hours later, Lucas returned, nervous. "Sir, there's nothing. The room she booked was under a false name. No ID, no trace. It's as if she never existed." Adrian's temper flared. "Impossible. No one walks into my life and vanishes. Find her." But the days turned into weeks and the trail remained cold. It gnawed at him during board meetings, haunted him in the quiet of the night. He was Adrian Blackwood, a man who could control entire markets. But he couldn't find one mysterious girl who had run into his arms by mistake. Meanwhile, Emily Carter sat in her tiny rented apartment across the city, holding her stomach with trembling hands. A new life had already begun to grow inside her. Fear and wonder mingled in her eyes. How could she tell the world that the father of her unborn children was Adrian Blackwood, the untouchable CEO? She made her choice. She would disappear. She would protect her babies, even if it meant cutting herself away from the man who unknowingly fathered them. For him, it was just one night. For her, it had become a destiny. Emily packed what little she owned, changed jobs, moved neighborhoods. Her old phone number was discarded, her trail erased. She carried her secret alone. Every flutter in her womb reminded her of him. But she buried the memory deep, telling herself again and again, he can never know. And so, while Adrian searched the city with growing frustration, Emily vanished into the shadows, taking with her the two souls that would one day change his life forever. 5 years had passed since that fateful night. Emily Carter's life was nothing like before. She now lived in a small but cozy apartment on the outskirts of the city. She worked as a kindergarten teacher, earning just enough to pay rent and keep food on the table. Life was simple, but it was filled with the laughter of her greatest treasures, her twins, Noah and Lily. Noah was mischievous, curious, always asking questions that reminded Emily painfully of someone else, Adrian Blackwood. His storm grey eyes were identical to Adrian's, sharp and intelligent even at the age of 4. Lily, on the other hand, carried Adrian's smile, soft but captivating, lighting up the room whenever she giggled. Looking at them was like looking at him in 2 tiny mirrors. One evening, as Emily prepared dinner, Lily tugged on her dress. "Mommy," she asked sweetly, "why don't we have a daddy like the other kids in class?" Emily's chest tightened. She knelt, cupping her daughter's cheeks. "Because, my love, you and Noah are everything I need. You're my whole world." Her voice was gentle, but when she turned away, her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. She had sworn never to tell them. Adrian belonged to another world, one of power, wealth, and ruthless ambition. What place did a poor teacher have there? She had chosen silence, believing it would protect them. Yet fate had other plans. Adrian Blackwood, now 35, was more powerful than ever. Business magazines still called him the Ice King, untouchable and cold. Countless women had tried to win his heart, but none succeeded, because deep down a pair of tearful brown eyes haunted him. He still remembered the girl who had barged into his room and vanished the next morning. For 5 years, he had searched quietly, discreetly, but she had disappeared without a trace. At charity galas, he stood surrounded by flashing cameras and wealthy elites, yet his mind wandered to a ghost. Nights were lonelier than the vast empire he had built. And he told himself that perhaps she had never been real, just a fleeting dream. But destiny was patient. It waited until the right moment, when 2 little children carrying his blood would unknowingly walk into his life and shatter the walls he had built around his heart. The storm was coming. The grand ballroom glittered with chandeliers and crystal glasses. Tonight was one of the city's most anticipated charity events, hosted by the Blackwood Foundation. Adrian Blackwood walked in, tall and imposing, his tailored suit sharp as ever. Conversations paused, eyes followed him. He was used to it, yet inside he felt the same hollow silence that had followed him for years. On the opposite side of the room, Emily Carter held little Lily's hand tightly. Her kindergarten had been invited to perform a small recital for the donors. It was a rare chance for her students and she couldn't refuse. But when she saw the Blackwood Enterprises banner hanging above the stage, her heart nearly stopped. Adrian, this was his event. "Noah, don't run off too far," she called as her son darted toward the snack table. She pulled Lily closer, trying to calm her own racing pulse. "He won't notice me," she told herself. "It's been 5 years. He won't even remember." But destiny had already drawn the line. When the children went on stage to sing, Adrian sat in the front row. At first he watched with polite detachment. Then his eyes landed on Noah. The boy's grey eyes, his eyes pierced through him like a mirror. Adrian froze. His gaze shifted to the little girl beside him, her smile tugging at something deep within him. He couldn't breathe. After the performance, as the children mingled with guests, Noah wandered straight toward Adrian, bold and curious. He tugged at the billionaire's sleeve. "Mister, are you our daddy?" The room fell silent. Guests turned, whispers spread like wildfire. Adrian's world tilted. He looked into the boy's face, then at the girl beside him, and finally at Emily, standing across the room, pale and trembling. Her eyes pleaded silently, "Don't." Adrian rose slowly, towering over the crowd. His voice was low, trembling with something he hadn't felt in years. "Who are you?" he asked, though his heart already knew the answer. Emily clutched Lily's hand so tightly it hurt. For the first time, the secret she had guarded with her life threatened to break open in front of everyone. Adrian's gaze locked onto hers, fierce, demanding, filled with betrayal and an aching hope. And in that moment, Emily knew there was no hiding anymore. The ballroom buzzed with tension long after the recital ended. Emily tried to slip away with the twins, but Adrian was faster. His tall frame blocked the exit, his storm grey eyes blazing. "You thought you could hide them from me." His voice was low, dangerous. Yet beneath the anger was a raw ache that almost broke her. Emily hugged Noah and Lily close. "I had no choice," she whispered. "Your world would have destroyed them. I just wanted them safe." Adrian's jaw tightened. For 5 years, he had searched for the girl who haunted his nights. Now she stood before him with his children. His flesh, his blood, betrayal burned in his chest. But stronger than that was something else, the undeniable pull toward them. Noah tilted his head curiously. "Mommy, is he really our daddy?" Emily's lips parted, but no words came. She was cornered. Adrian knelt, his hard exterior cracking as he looked into his son's eyes. "Yes," he said, his voice softening, "I am." Gasps rippled through the wealthy crowd, reporters snapping photos. In that instant, scandal was born. The mighty Adrian Blackwood, who never let a woman close, was revealed to have twins with a poor kindergarten teacher. Whispers turned into headlines. But Adrian didn't care. His entire focus was on the fragile woman trembling before him. "Marry me," he demanded suddenly, shocking everyone. Emily's eyes widened. "What?" "Marry me tonight. You think I'll let you disappear again? You think I'll let someone else call my children theirs? Never." His voice was commanding, but there was desperation woven in it. Emily shook her head frantically. "Adrian, this isn't a fairy tale. You don't even love me." His hand gripped hers, firm and unyielding. "Maybe I don't understand what this feeling is yet, but I know one thing: you belong with me. Our children belong with me, and I will burn this world before I lose you again." Her tears spilled, caught between fear and the sincerity blazing in his eyes. He was the ruthless CEO everyone feared. Yet now he was begging for her not to leave. Before she could stop him, Adrian pulled out his phone, giving orders. By midnight, the city buzzed with shocking news. Adrian Blackwood and Emily Carter had registered their marriage. No lavish wedding, no planning. Just a flash marriage that bound them together before the world could tear them apart. Emily stared at the marriage certificate in her trembling hands. Her life had changed forever in a single night, again. And this time, there was no turning back. The news of Adrian Blackwood's sudden marriage exploded like wildfire. Headlines screamed, "Ice King CEO marries kindergarten teacher overnight." Social media buzzed with gossip. Tabloids painted Emily as a schemer, and business rivals whispered that Adrian had finally lost his mind. Inside the Blackwood mansion, Emily sat on the edge of a velvet sofa, holding Lily while Noah explored the grand halls. The twins were dazzled by chandeliers and endless rooms, but Emily's heart was heavy. She didn't belong here. The walls of marble and glass felt like a cage. Adrian entered, his presence filling the room. He looked at his children first, the way Noah proudly declared, "Daddy, look at this toy car," and the way Lily curled against his chest when he lifted her. Something softened in his eyes every time. He had built an empire on ice, but these two children melted it with a single laugh. Then his gaze shifted to Emily. "You're trembling," he said quietly, kneeling before her. "I don't fit in this world," she admitted, her voice cracking. "Everyone thinks I trapped you. They'll never accept me." Adrian cupped her chin gently, forcing her to meet his eyes. "Let them talk. They don't decide who I love, who I marry, or who I protect. I do." The word love stunned her. He said it unconsciously, but his tone left no doubt. It was real. The days ahead were a storm. Paparazzi swarmed the gates. Reporters hounded Emily's past, and even members of the Blackwood board questioned Adrian's decision. "She's unworthy," one sneered during a heated meeting. Adrian silenced him with a glare cold enough to freeze the air. At night, Emily overheard the whispers and doubted herself. But then she would find Adrian reading bedtime stories to Noah and Lily. His deep voice soft, his stern face relaxed. Sometimes she caught him just watching her when he thought she wasn't looking, like a man who couldn't believe his luck. One evening, when the storm outside matched the chaos in their lives, Adrian found Emily standing by the window, tears streaking her face. Without a word, he wrapped his arms around her. "I thought this marriage was just for the children," she whispered. Adrian pressed his forehead against hers. "At first, yes, but now, Emily, you've become the reason I breathe." Her walls crumbled at last. She let herself believe for the first time that this love could be real. Together they faced the world, no longer CEO and poor girl, no longer strangers bound by accident. They were a family, and against every storm, every whisper, every enemy, they would stand unshaken, because love had already chosen for them.